everybody. This is Stephanie coming at you from my house via Texas Health Huguley Fitness Center. This is my daughter Lily.
Hi.
Today we are going to do a kids yoga, a family-friendly yoga. Now this isn't just for your kids, this is for you too. This yoga is going to be simple relaxation. It's going to be simple stretches. We're going to stay on our mat the whole time. Okay, we're not even doing standing poses today. We're just going to be on our mat. We're going to take some time to regroup, release the tension in our minds, release the tension in our bodies, stretch some, go through some super familiar poses that your whole family can do together. This would be great for like a kid's brain break. If you're doing the homeschool or the distance learning school, this would be great for you to do first thing in the morning when you wake up and you just need to get your act together before you start your day. So this is for all my friends working from home, for all my friends with families. Whoever wants to use this can totally use this. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna start in your relaxation pose. So if you'll go ahead and lay all the way down for me, we're gonna extend the legs straight out. We're gonna relax everything. So your toes may fall out toward the sides, your hips may open here. We wanna release the shoulders down into the floor. You can flip those palms facing up. We're gonna take a few deep breaths here just to really start relaxing, start centering ourselves. Before we start moving, I just want to tell you guys I'm going to be cueing this as if you're not even looking at me. So don't feel like you have to crane your neck to look at the video screen every time we start to move. Try to just listen to the cues and see what that means for your body this morning. We're going to bring both our feet up to the mat so our knees are facing up toward the ceiling. As you hold here, what we're really focused on is releasing our lower back down toward the floor. We're not in our arched position. You're in your neutral spine, even letting it sink closer to the floor, still relaxed across the upper body and the shoulders. Walk our feet out so they're about the width of your mat. If you're not using a mat, you're going to take them out wider than hip width apart. We're going to adjust the hands, moving them up toward a T position somewhat. And I want you to drop both your knees over to the right side. This is our windshield wiper pose. Now your back may come off the mat a little bit. That's okay. We want to leave both shoulder blades on the floor. Just letting gravity pull those legs down to whatever level is comfortable for you. And let's take the legs up and over into the other side. Sinking into this position as you continue to hold. We're just going to take those windshield wipers, alternating sides. Knees come up and over to your right and up and over to the left. continuously moving here. Once you drop those knees down, we'll lift them right back up. No hurry, just continuously moving. Let's go one more to each side. And let's pull those knees, both of them, back up to the ceiling. Walk your feet back in so they're about hip width apart. Both knees are going to come straight into your chest here. Hands are going to come to the tops of the knees. You can take hold of one finger or all your fingers, wrapping the arms around the outside of the knees. As you're holding here, think about relaxing your shoulders. Are you able to drop them down to the floor? If you choose to, you can add a gentle side-to-side rocking motion here. So what we're doing is massaging our back just down into the mat, rolling across, lifting one shoulder, one hip, rolling across to the other side. As you come back to the center, I want you to release those knees. We're going to take both feet straight up to the ceiling. Now here's a good chance to really support and stretch those hamstrings. If you need to, hands can come to the back of the legs to keep them straighter to the ceiling, that 90-degree angle that we're looking for. I want you to flex the feet, pulling those toes back toward the shins. And we're going to push through the feet, pointing the toes straight up. Nice long legs, really reaching your big toe straight up toward the ceiling here. And flex the feet, pulling the toes back toward the shins once more. Think of your feet as a tabletop here. They're both so flat you could rest your cup of water on them. Keep trying to lengthen through the back of the leg. Nice long legs reaching straight up from the hips to the ceiling. And again, let's point the toes, reaching straight up toward the ceiling. Good, really stretching down the front of the foot. Let's bend the knees back into the chest, taking one hand to the top of each knee. Now I want you to open up wide toward your shoulders. So I'm going to pull my elbows out to the side, opening up through the knees, keeping the feet relaxed, pressing my knees in toward my shoulders here. Taking this one into one of my favorite poses, Happy Baby. So we're going to release our knees, keeping them where they are. Raise up your feet. Take a hold of your big toe if you can. We're going to let the weight of the arms really press those knees in toward just the outside of our shoulders here. Stretching through the inner thighs. And if you feel comfortable, you can take this one into a side-to-side rock as well. Imagining a baby in their crib playing with their toes here. Right, Lil?
Yeah.
Alright, as you come back to the center, we'll go ahead and release those toes. Knees to the chest one last time. Relaxing the shoulders back down to the floor again. Alright, we're going to adjust our hands here. We're taking them behind the backs of our knees. You're going to use that momentum as your knees rock in to help you rock all the way up. And I'm going to take a scooch back on my mat here. We're coming into our staff pose. So we're gonna make an L shape from our shoulders to our hips and then straight back out, sitting up nice and tall. Good, now pull the toes up toward the ceiling. Really flexing through the feet, straightening the legs, engaging your quads. So it's like you're lifting your kneecaps up. Good, sitting up nice and tall as you inhale, both arms come up over your head. Now as you exhale, we're gonna go straight forward with a nice long spine. Don't drop all the way down yet. We're reaching from the base of our back out the top of our head. A great hint here is to have your arms right beside your ears. Okay, that means you're doing it correctly. Really reaching out. And let's drop it all the way down. Rounding through the spine now, taking everything over. You have lots of choices here. You can simply release forward. You can take a hold of the feet or the shins and hold yourself there, or you can engage those arms and gently pull yourself forward in that rounded position. As you inhale, let's reach up and away. And exhale, release those arms at the top. Awesome, we're gonna pull one leg in. So we're gonna take whatever leg you want. I'm gonna take my front leg so you guys can see me rotate. Okay, I'm pulling it in so the sole of my foot is touching the inside of my other leg, whether that be along the calf, the knee, or closer to the inner thigh. That leg that's extended, I want you to flex the foot again, really pulling the toes up. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, take it forward, straight out over that leg. Good, now whatever leg you have extended, that same hand is gonna come down. It's gonna rest on the leg. And we're gonna open up toward our bent knee here. Good, reaching those fingertips up to the ceiling. Putting some pressure with that hand against the leg to help you rotate. If you want to take this deeper, we're going to take that top hand, wrap it behind the back, and look away from your body. Looking over that shoulder. Reach it back up and over. I want you to come all the way down to the leg now. Rounded spine, taking everything over, nose towards your knee. And again, you can actively stretch here, or you can just release everything forward down toward the floor. As you inhale, I want you to reach those arms out, lengthen through your spine, push it up and away. And release. Good, let's switch legs.
This is like a great just meditating time. Just like
Yeah, it is a good meditating, calm down time. Yeah.
Like after a hard day of work, just like
Oh yeah, it would be good to do this in the evenings if you're working from home, especially right now. All right, let's pull it up right here. Inhale, both arms coming up. And let's press it forward, long back to start. Remember, your arms are gonna stay right by your ears. You're lengthening from the base of your spine out the top of the head. So the chin isn't hanging down. Good, keep that foot flexed. And the same arm is gonna come down. I'm gonna rotate away from you guys, pushing against the leg this time. Good, applying that pressure against the leg. If you want to go deeper, we'll wrap that arm behind the back and gaze away from your legs. Concentrating on that rotation. arms out toward that leg. Remember, we're in a rounded back here. So just relaxing everything over toward the floor, releasing through the neck and the shoulders as well. If you want to actively stretch here, you can take a hold of your ankle or your foot and gently pull yourself closer with the nose lined up right over your knee. All right, as you inhale, reach it out and away. And release the arms. Perfect, let's pull it into a butterfly. So our butterfly means our heels come as close to our body as we can. Okay, I'm gonna clasp my fingers and tuck them under my toes here. Then before I start holding, I'm gonna lengthen through the back, pressing the shoulders away from the ears. Good, sitting up nice and tall. And you wanna just think about relaxing through the hips here. We're not forcing those knees down toward the floor. We're just releasing and relaxing. It's okay if your legs don't touch the floor here. It's okay if they do. Good, keep lengthening through the spine so you have a nice proud chest opening toward your front. Your chin is lifted. Taking just another deep inhale and exhale here. All right, I'm gonna release my feet. Keeping this same position, we're gonna press it forward into star. Feet stay together. I'm gonna slide them out away from my body, holding on to my knees, my shins. I want you to find that tall position again. Nice long back. We're gonna begin to press it forward here, leaning that upper body forward, hinging from the hips. And then at the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and round everything down. So I'm releasing through my head, my neck, my shoulders. Everything is leaning forward. We're going for that deep stretch in the outside of the hips as well. You can go ahead and drop the top of your head here. And go ahead and roll yourself back up. We're gonna walk those hands back in. Excellent, it's time to flip it over to our hands and knees position. So staying on your mat, I'm gonna flip it around. I'm gonna place my hands under my shoulders. My knees are gonna come right under my hips. Okay, so I'm not walking them in toward my belly button or too far back like a modified plank. You wanna feel like you're on 4 solid pegs here. For right now, my gaze is just straight down at the floor. We call this our neutral spine, where we're not arching, we're not rounding, we're just in whatever is a nice, straight, lengthened spine for your body. On your next inhale, we're gonna reach our spine to the ceiling for cat pose. Rounding up toward the ceiling, pulling your chin and your tailbone into the center. Really imagining that your belly button is gonna touch your spine here. And let's drop it into our cow pose. Our belly comes down to the mat. Head comes up, tailbone comes up. So we're lengthening down the front of our abdominals, trying to feel a stretch right there. Now, as you can see, it doesn't have to be a heavily arched back. Okay, you can see just the gentle arch in my back. That's all you have to do. We're not trying to compress our lower back. We're trying to lengthen as we lift that tailbone so that we feel that stretch down the front of the abdominals. And let's take everything back to our neutral spine here. This one's called wag the dog. So we're gonna take one shoulder and one hip together at the same side. So bringing it around and then switching. Good, so as you squeeze one side toward each other, you should feel a lengthening down the other side. Just alternating the sides. A couple more right here. This one feels pretty good. Good. Let's take it in the center. We're gonna sit back in our child's pose here. So you're sitting the heels all the way back. Sitting back all the way to your heels, lowering the upper body down. Now it is okay if your forehead does not come all the way to the floor here. That's just fine. We really want to get back into those heels. So that's our primary goal. As you're holding, you can bend the elbows. That's going to help soften the shoulders forward. Yourself up back to that hands and knees position. We're going to take it into a lunge stretch right here. So I'm going to take one of my feet. It's going to come all the way up to the inside of that same hand, stretching forward. So as we're holding here, we want to lengthen through that long back leg. You can see Lily's knee is down into the floor, so is the top of her foot. That's exactly how we want it. We don't want to rotate here. We're trying to stretch down the front of the hip. Good, and I want you to imagine you're just sinking into this pose. The longer you hold, you're sinking that hip closer and closer toward the floor. Good, supporting with our back hand, we're going to rotate toward whatever foot is in front by that hand, opening up top hand to the ceiling. That supporting elbow needs to be just a little bit soft, not all the way bent, just barely. Good, one more rotation, deep push here. And let's lower down. We'll bring that foot back so our knees are meeting toward each other, back to your child's pose here. Shift the weight forward. We're going to come back to that quadruped position, repeating the lunge stretch on the other side. Shifting the weight back to hands and knees here. Good. Stepping the other foot forward. Just to the inside of that hand. Now if you need to, feel free to use your hand to assist you to get it right where it needs to be. Now we're going to shift that weight forward. Long back leg, the knee is facing down toward the floor. The top of your foot and your toenails are facing down toward the floor as well. Still imagining that we're sinking closer and closer to the floor. Now in this position, it is okay for that knee to extend past your toe. Usually when we're working in any kind of fitness area, we don't want the knee going past the toe. It's okay for this position. We're supporting with our hands. We're not leaving all that weight to the knee. Good, be sure those hips are still facing towards your front, that you're not opening the hip toward the side. We want to drop it down toward the floor. This time, the other hand will be your support hand. Elbow nice and soft. We'll rotate toward that bent knee. Be sure as you hold here, you're not coming back onto that back leg. You want to keep everything shifted forward. And push that rotation a little farther. Good, bring it back down. As you come down here, go ahead and take a seat back. We're going to transition into plank, which most of you know, I'm sure, and then transitioning into modified or full pigeon. Pigeon is designed to open up through the hips, really getting a great stretch throughout the hips. So I'm going to show you lots of different modifications that you can try here to help you open up a little bit better. We're going to start in our plank. So we're going to slide out, hands under the shoulders. We're going to take our feet back. Good. As you hold here, remember, we're lifting up through the belly button, lengthening through those legs. We're going to take one leg, and I'm just going to slide my knee forward to start. Bringing that knee in straight forward. Good, now if you can sit all the way on your heel here, then you may need to go a little deeper. If you cannot sit on your heel, that's okay, but I want you to stay right here in this modified pose. To go a little deeper, we're just gonna walk that foot around just like this. Okay, now what we're trying to do is sit as close to the mat as possible. Let's check our back leg though. We want the top of the knee and your foot and toenails to face toward the floor. We just want to be sure we're not rolling open toward that back leg. We want to keep our hips facing forward. Let's see if we can drop it to the elbows here. Good, if you want to take it a little bit farther, you can even reach those arms both out to the front. This is one of those poses you can hold for as long as you like. As you continue to sink deeper and deeper, you're going to feel that deeper stretch. Okay, so this is a great one to do, especially if you have hip pain, if you're seated a lot. This is a great stretch to do just throughout your day. Being sure as you're holding that you're keeping that back leg facing down toward the floor, no rotation. All right, as we transition, we're going to bring our hands back up. We're going to curl our back toe under. Okay, we're going to press up and find your plank again. Good, let's take it to the other knee. We started with the knee just sliding forward, sitting as close to the heel as you can. If you're already on that heel, let's think about walking it around a little bit. Good, monitoring that back leg, making sure it's facing down toward the floor, that you're pressing up. And then as you come down, you want to think about lengthening out. If you want to come down to the elbows, you can bring it down in any version, whether you're sitting on the heel or whether you're trying to sit as close to the mat as possible. You can bring it down in either one. If you want to, you can extend both arms all the way out. This is definitely a stretch that it's important to keep breathing through this pose. You don't want to hold your breath. You want to release. Remember, this is supposed to be for relaxation and flexibility. So we don't want to hold our breath and tense up. We really want to try to keep releasing everything. All right, go ahead and walk your hands back in. We'll transition back through our plank here. So we'll place our hands under our shoulders. We're gonna curl the back toes under and press up, find your plank. Good, let's hold it here. Let's hold it for a little bit, ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, knees down. All right, we're gonna take it back over to our back. We're gonna finish just with our reclining twist, okay? It's a great one to finish on. It really opens up the back. So if you'll lay all the way down, we're gonna start by taking both hands out to a letter T. My palms are gonna be facing up toward the ceiling. Okay, we'll pull those knees up to a 90-degree angle. So my knees are right over my hips. My legs are extended straight out from the knees. And you can take those legs over to either side that you want. We're gonna drop them down nice and slow. Try to hold that 90-degree angle. So they should be coming straight out from your hips here. The main thing in this pose is that our opposite shoulder stays in contact with the floor. So we're not rolling toward those knees. We have a nice open chest. Arms are nice and long, reaching for the opposite walls. Our back is rotating and our shoulder is down in contact with the floor. Each time you exhale here, I want you to release the tension from your back. A twist should not be forced. We want to let our spine rotate and release through those muscles at whatever level it is ready for at this moment. Nice deep breaths here. If you want to take this stretch a little bit deeper, you can extend that top leg. If you want, you can even reach for your big toe. All right, go ahead and bend that knee back in if you had it extended. As you inhale, we're going to pick the legs back up, coming all the way up to center. As you exhale, take it straight into the other side. Once again, our reminders for these reclining twist pose. That opposite shoulder is going to stay in contact with the floor. Each time you exhale, we want to release that tension from the back, allowing the spine to twist. Think about a nice open chest straight up toward the ceiling. And extending that top leg out if you choose to deepen the stretch, and even reaching for the big toe if you're comfortable. Releasing that big toe, go ahead and pull the knee back in. As you inhale, we'll take the legs back up to the ceiling and hug them in towards your chest one more time. As we're just about to be finished here, I want you to think about the next activity you're going to start this morning or this evening. Is this your end of day stretch where you're fixing to just relax with your family, or watch television or make dinner? Is this the beginning of your day stretch? where you're getting organized, thinking about what lays ahead of you? Or is this just a break for you? Think about all that you've accomplished today, and think about where you're going to go from here. As you release those knees, we're going to take the feet back to the floor. Hands are just going to come beside the body, palms facing up. Again, focusing on that lower back here. Really releasing everything down into the mat. Relaxing across the chest, releasing the shoulders toward the floor. And we're going to extend just one leg at a time, straight out, back into that relaxation pose. Taking a second just to relax through the forehead, through the chest and shoulders, through the hips. And let's roll it over to one side and press ourselves up. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us for this little yoga stretch today. I want to thank my beautiful assistant, my daughter Lily, and we hope you guys can really use this to your advantage with your families or just for yourself to get in some good stretches and release some tension, work on that range of motion a little bit. All right, thanks guys.